We're going to jack this up as far as we can and put jack stands underneath the frame. We got her up, support on jack stands, tires are off, and yeah, this is pretty rough. I want to hit everything with some penetrating oil, and I'm not talking about WD-40, I'm talking about PB Blaster. WD-40 is a water displacement. It keeps things from rusting. PB soaks in and separates stuff. Like bolts for the shocks, especially the bolts for the shocks, they take a lot of abuse. Put a jack up underneath the A-frame, put the pressure on it, and start unbolting this stuff. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is those shims right there. All right? These shims. I want you to take a picture and take a mental note of, matter of fact, you can measure, because this will get you a baseline of how far this A-frame needs to be off that frame. Okay, so let's do some measuring. All right, we're going to measure from all the way from the back plate to where she touches. With in front 1 3/8, about 1 3/8. Okay, going to be about 1 1/8, and we have a problem. Let me show you what it is. We're missing bushings. All right, so I'm going to have to kind of guesstimate off of, because there's no bushings in there, they fell out. It's sitting at about 1 1/8. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use 1 1/8 on this side, 1 3/8 on the driver's side. Okay, another thing I want to show you. Okay, now they're not really marked out of the box which is which. Now you can tell because of the shock mount, driver's side, passenger side from the lowers, but the uppers, you know, they're not marked. So if you look at the shape, we'll straighten up. So it's pretty straight on the front, and it's at a bevel on the back. So that's just your double check of which one goes on which side when you bolt this back up. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these brake calipers off, because they're going to get replaced anyway, so they're not going back on right now. But you need to keep these calipers because they have a core charge, so you're going to want to keep those intact. But we're just going to unbolt them and take them off. See if I remember and guess correctly for the size for this. Yep, right there. All right, and those end up being, let's see, what size is this? 3/8. Most mechanics in the world would do this with their little mini impact and zip it right in, zip it right out. But I don't have one of those, so we're doing it old school. All right. So, and I'm assuming that most of you guys doing this are not going to have a lot of air impact tools. So we're going to do this the muscle way. Now, if you got impacts, if you got battery operated or air tools or whatever you got, great, good. This will go faster. Would you like to be part of something special? Uncle Buck's Garage now has memberships, and that's a open opportunity to be behind the scenes, to get information nobody else gets to see, to see things, possibly get to see things before anybody else sees them, things like that. If you would like that opportunity, there's a link down below for the memberships for Uncle Buck's Garage. Please sign up. There we go. And yeah, seal's all gone. She wasn't going to work anyway, so that's a direct replacement. Yep. Okay, so we've got everything sprayed down. It's been sitting for about 20 minutes since we got those brake calipers off, and we'll take that off after the fact. We'll need that bolt stuff, or if we don't. Now it's just a matter of, there's a bolt here, right here with a cotter pin in it, and there's this one right here. You can see there's a, I don't know if I get you a picture. Yeah. All right, so you have The only thing holding this together right now is this ball joint and this lower ball joint, and these castle nuts and the cotter pin. Now, I want to give you a little lesson here. All right, now, you see this ball joint? You see rivets? As you notice, they're not screws. These are originals, riveted ball joints. Okay? And the reason I say that is because these are riveted. You have to grind these heads off and drift the pins out to change this ball joint. If you ever pull your stuff apart and you see a ball joint that's got bolts in it, you know, hex head bolts in it, you know it's been replaced. The other thing is, all the new parts manufacturers, for the cheap ones, they will not have a grease cert. The reason this ball joint lasted as long as it did is because it was greasable. And I've taken one of the ungreasable ones apart. It's about a third full of grease. It is designed to fail over time. This would not have lasted as long as it did if it wasn't greasable. All right. So anytime I replace them, I'll spend the extra money to get an upper ball joint that's greasable. That way it will last beyond as long as I'm going to live. Okay. Bottom U joints usually always have greasable zerts in the bottom of them, but this is the one. And in the store, when you go in the store, the picture will look like this. But you open the box, which I highly recommend when you're buying suspension parts, take your parts with you to make sure they're exactly right, because the picture on the screen may not be the part that you get. Because if I go to O'Reilly's right now and I ask for an upper ball joint for a square body Chevy, say a 73 through 87, it'll show this picture with the grease cert in it. But 4 different part numbers, 4 different boxes, pull them all out, no grease cert. And there are 2 pieces where this is like a one-piece design. They're made with this plate, and you flip it over, and there's a little metal plate that gets sandwiched in between the new bolts, right? And you can take it apart, and it'll only be about a third way full of grease. It's absolutely just, it's designed to make you have to come back and get more. All right, so just remember, grease cert. All right, first thing you gotta do is you have to support it. All right, so you gotta get the underneath it. Just enough to hold it in place. Now, if you wanted to, you could just cut these off and knock it back through, but sometimes it's fun, well, at least it is for me, to try to get these straightened out enough where they'll just tap back through the hole. And that's number 1 out. And we won't reuse that. We'll get a new one. We have a, got a cotter pin here. I just want to take the spindle off all at one piece. We might clean it up a little bit, but I just want to take it off. Okay, cotter pins are out. Now all we got to do is the first thing I do is we got to take the upper A-frame loose from the spindle. All right, let's see if I remember correctly. There we go. Yep, 7/8. Now these are usually pretty stuck on, so, and I brushed these with a wire brush because I've done this before lots of times, and I know that there gets grit on the threads, and sometimes these castle nuts, after you have the cotter pins out, they can be a pain in the butt. Okay, so that is a castle nut. As you can see, so you can get it'll have a ball joint, and you'll slip this in between to hold it in place so it doesn't loosen off. All right, so what do you do to get that loose? Pick a fork and a big hammer. And this is a pickle fork. As you can see, it's just a wedge. And we're just going to slide it up underneath here. You gotta make sure, yep, we're underneath. You got to have that big A-frame on the bottom supported, okay? Just like that. That's all there is to it. Now she's loose. All right. And then first time you do that, that'll scare the hell out of you, okay? But now the jack is supporting the lower A-frame, and this now is loose. And we get in here and we take these two off. And remember, we measured the spacage here, and these are all going to hit the ground. Yep. There we go. That's going to be warm. Woo! Yep, that's going to be warm. All right. Now we'll go ahead and lift these out. And that's a spacer that goes on the truck. And then we'll lift these out. All right, and that's another spacer that came from the truck. And then this, yep, just comes right out. See on the bushings, they're completely gone, okay? Completely gone, all the way around. Okay. The motor did its job, because if I'd have done that without any weight in this frame, then it would have launched. That coil spring right there, that's under serious tension. Now the ones that I got to replace it are 3-inch drop springs, and they'll go in real easy, but this is one of those things that you need to protect yourself. Now, the rubber bumper right here, that big bracket that sits right there, that is a little bit of protection for yourself, because in case it's decided to slide out and go bing-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling down, but it doesn't go bing-a-ling-a-ling. It goes boom, 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 boom around in the shop, which I've seen happen before on a 2-post lift. And it just shoved everything down so fast that there was no control in it. It's an 1/16" socket on the bottom one, and a nice big long, oh, I think she's already loose. Oh, okay. Ew, I don't know if I like that. I was expecting this one to give me a fight. All right, put that down there with the other one. All right, now I wonder, since that nut was loose, I wonder if this spindle is loose. Oh, look in there. Okay. And then you just grab a hold of it wherever you can and you lift it off. Yeah, because you gotta tilt it this way so it'll get past the dust screen. Now comes the dangerous part. Letting that spring out of the pocket. We are going to back off a little bit. All right. And I'm going to slowly let this down. All right. All right. There we go. Oop, yep, oop. Okay. All right. And that is what it looks like. So now, all we gotta do is take the bottom frame out, and it's just 4 bolts right here. Then we can zip out with an impact. 2 here and 2 here next to the motor mounts. And then that'll drop on the ground. All right. All right. Last thing to do to get this A-arm off is to take those 2 bolts out. I've already taken those 2 bolts loose, and so it's just a matter of impacting and getting there. Now it'd be easier without the engine there, but it's easily accessible. We'll just use Hercules, and just a short extension. It gives you enough space to get in here. And get it loose. Out. Get out. There we go. Now the thing about those bolts is normally they don't just fall out. Normally you got to jiggle around a little bit to get them to drop. All right. But we're going to need to keep those because we got to reuse those. Hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. Just like that. All right. Yeah, that's heavy. What we're going to do is we're going to clean all this up and paint it and let it harden overnight. Okay, that's all the pieces out. Took me about 2 hours, but that's what it looks like when it's took apart. And you're going to find dirt and grime and grit everywhere. So we're going to clean this up and put a coat of paint on it. Just so you know, you're going to have a mess. You're going to have dirt fall out of everywhere on this thing when you get started doing it. And it's like it's the same on both sides. But she's all cleaned up, buffed out. I'm going to wipe it down with some solvent. And we're going to shoot this. I'm going to set the scale up here. This is an old scale I used to have for back in the day whenever I was doing a lot of eBaying. And I would have to know what stuff weighed to take it to the post office or UPS to ship it. So we are going to use this thing. All right. You can tell she's old, but she works. She'll zero out every time, go to zero, and we're set on pounds. Not on kilos, but we're set on pounds. Okay, so let's get a measurement here. Let's do a spring. Let's do an original spring. Yep, gotta reset it again. It goes real quick. All right. Original spring, 13¼ pounds. Okay. All right. We'll do an original upper control arm here. What this weighs? 10¾ All right. All right, and here's the big boy. This is the one I'm curious about. All right, we're zeroed out. Oh. All right, 30½. All right, here's the aftermarket stuff. We'll zero out here, and we'll put this on. 24 pounds, 23¾ All right, 23¾ That's already a lot less. And then we'll do the upper, zero it out, 10¼ All right, that's already lighter than the other one. All right, and the spring. Let's zero this out. 12¾ Okay, let's do a little math. 30¾ 10 Okay, so that's 40, 53, 54, 54¾ for the original stuff. 20, 30, 45, 46¾ So that's 20 pounds. It's 19 pounds, but it's 20 pounds. That's 10 pounds per size. It's 20 pounds of weight saved. Now this is what you get to change out to. This is what we took off of that. Everything's clean, ready to go. We're going to put these on today, but I just wanted to give you a quick hit on what the weight savings is. The other savings is that I don't have to drill out, pull apart, clean, paint, fix, weld, do whatever. I don't have to do any of that. This is all pre-done. New ball joints, new rubbers, new bushings, new everything. I ain't got to mess with nothing. I just got to change them out. And save 20 pounds of weight on the front end of that truck, which everybody knows if you're racing, 20 pounds can be the difference between winning and losing. 20 pounds is a lot of weight when it comes to racing. Grease them. Grease them before you put them in. I'm just telling you, I don't know if they're packed with grease or not whenever they come, but grease the ball joints, all right, before you put them on. And the easiest way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to use milk crate, flip this over, and use that to hold it up while I put the bolts in. And I don't know if you guys know, but these upper control arms like this, they have centering lugs. They go on lugs that are down there underneath. And you just put them on the lugs and you use the U-bolts, and they go here, and they just hold them in place. And it's about as simple as it gets. I mean, the hard part is getting it apart. The easy part is putting them back on. That's the easy part. All right, so we're just going to set these up here. And I just took a brush and I cleaned those up a little bit. And we're going to spin this around. And then we're just going to use the part. And we're just going to move this out of the way. And we're just going to use this to hold it up. Just like that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So let's get this thing bolted on the lugs and bolted up, and let's get this process started. It already looks good. That black on the gray. I wasn't quite sure about the gray when I started, but I'm kind of really liking it. So just as a contrast from the frame and all that biz. Oh, by the way, mention, yep, rain got to it sitting out in the field. Busted. I'm gonna have to get a new steering box, but it ain't no big deal. Okay. All right, so let's lift this up in here. Get this out of the way. Let's see what I got to do. Something. Okay. And then lift this up into the lugs. Like that. All right, so we'll take the U-bolt. And we'll just slide them in the hole. And we'll just temporarily put these on finger tight. Okay, we're just going to put them on finger tight. We'll tighten everything down after the end, but right now we're just going finger. We're just holding it up in place. We want to make sure that the lugs are in the hole and that these are in the saddle where they need to be. All right. All right. And you'll know it. You'll feel it when it goes in. All right. We'll take this one aside. And we'll also do this side. All right, it's just the same thing, same process. We're just going, it just loops over the bar, and then, yep, times we'll take the vise. Here, I'll show you what the problem is. See how it's kind of spread a little bit? All right, so we're just going to put it in a vise. And we're just going to give it a little tweak just to kind of rebend it to where it needs to be. All right. And it's going to spring back a little bit, but that'll give it just enough. See how much better that is? It'll just slide right in now. And probably have to do the same thing on the other side. I can almost guarantee I'll have to do the same thing on the other side. All right, again, it just goes and splits the shaft. Looky there, like a glove. Now that those are on, I just got to make sure that those lugs go in the right place, which there it is. Yep. Okay, so now we can kind of suck it up a little bit and work it from there. We'll get the impact out. Like I said, I'm not going to suck this all the way up either. I'm just going to kind of get it in place. That way I can manipulate it a little bit. That's still loose. It's just sucked up a little tighter. All right, like I said, this is Not a hard job. Okay. Now, yep, right about there. Yep, that fits good. That bumper is. There you go, baby. All right. And the spring has a very specific pocket that this end goes in right here. All right. This is for the top. It goes up in this here. But this end has to go on the back side, say it right at 12 o'clock. All right. So you basically slide this up in here first, and you find it. There it is. All right. And this goes in the pocket again. All right. Now, like I said, this goes up inside here. Run this around until you feel it. It'll be about right there. All right. Then we're going to lift this up, put this in the pocket like this. Use the jack. To hold it in place temporarily. All right. Now we need the upper. Then we'll reuse these as flats. We'll just do them this way, just like this. All right, just like that. It's back on. Okay, so we said 1 3/8, right? From the backside. So we need to measure and see what the difference is that we need right now. 1 3/8. So 1/2 inch, about 7/8 worth of shims. Okay. So the easiest way to do that and to make them where they stick is you bring them over here to the bench and you get 1 7/8 worth of stack and you tape them together. So you take about this much, take them and you stack them up till you get about 7/8 of an inch, and we'll measure that. That's about 3/4. We'll do one more. All right. So that's pretty close. It's close enough for government work. Then we'll take a piece of tape, right, and we'll tape them together like this. You stick them all together, and you just take a piece of tape, and you tape them together just like this. That way, when you get them over there, all you do is just slide them on. They stay together. Easy peasy lemon. That way, when you get them over there, you just slide them over the stud, and they stay together. Now, this may be too much shimmage. I'm almost going to guarantee it's too much shimmage. So I think I'm going to actually cut that back a little bit. But this is how this works. You just kind of slide them in, and they go over the shaft if they're going to fit, which, no, actually I think that's actually too much. So we're going to cut this down to like 1/2 inch. We're going to do that. We're going to take these out, tape this back up, slide this one over here like this. I'm going to take 2 of these out, 2 of these thick ones. Same thing. Just slide them out and then retape it. And set them over just like this, like that. All right. All right, and then it's a matter of getting the impact out again and tightening these down. Let's pick these back up. There we go. Yep, they're tight. Okay, then we're going to take these, use them on the other side, and now we need to put the spindle back on. You really don't get no simpler than this. It just goes in the hole, just like that. And then this one goes in here, puts it up, just like that. Yep, there's it through, and then clean the threads. Super nut. Super nut. And then get that shoved down a little farther on here. Don't want to mar it up. There we go. All right. And then we need to tighten those down. All right. This is the biggest one, the ratchet ones I got. I need a different wrench. All right. Okay. Then, like I did on the top one, on the bottom one, we're going to grease this joint. Alright, because I don't know if they come with grease or not, but I'm going to make sure there's some in there. We'll put this back on the spindle. Just because. And so we're tight here, and we're tight here. We're squished. Yep, rubber squished. Let's clean up a little bit. The control arm, yeah. Now this is just temporary because, you know, I'll be rebuilding this whole, everything else on it. Let's get the other side put together, and then let's get on the ground and see what it looks like. Let the suspension down. Oh yeah, it's already riding lower, much lower, once we put the weight on it. But we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll show it to you when it's on the ground, but this is a really nice kit. Everything fit. There was no problems. Everything. It just right together, boom, 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 by the numbers. No complaints at all. None. I got no complaints about this. Oh yeah, she's much lower. Much. Oh yeah, she's much lower. Sitting pretty now. All right, now I did have to end up taking shims out of this one because it was sitting way up. So, but this one, I put the shims back in like it was, and it's spot on. I mean, can't complain much. She moves free. She looks great. I mean, it looks so nice, so choice, and movement is good. There's no binding. Everything fit perfectly. Front and back. Everything went on. I mean, there was no, I didn't have to hog no holes. I didn't have to do any special spacers, nothing. It turned out great. So I'm telling you guys, for the money and for the lack of sweat, just swapping them out for the old stuff, which that's the pile right there. Tell me that that doesn't look damn sexy. Okay, they're on, and it's finished. And let me tell you, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with this kit. You know, because you think coming from overseas, it might not fit. It might, you know, might have to do something, drill some holes, do something to it. No. The hardest part about this was taking the old stuff off. That was the hardest part. After this stuff was off and the paint dried, I'm in this an hour and a half. And it's completely done. It's ready to go on the road. Now, it's going to be a while before this goes on the road, you know, because I got to get a cab, you know, and finish cab up everything. But for the money and for the lack of aggravation of having to push out all those old ball joints, all those bushings, and put new ones in, grease everything, use special tools, the whole 9 yards. Take it off, replace it, and it bolts up like it belonged there its whole life. I'm sold. Okay. Max Beanie Rods. Check them out. There'll be a link down below. Now, what I want to say is the coil springs, the 3-inch drop coil springs, came with a separate kit. It's a 3-5 drop kit. It's a coil spring from the front, 3-inch drop, which is definitely dropped 3 inches. I measured it before, I measured it after. It's dropped 3 inches, okay? Just by changing out the springs, all right? And putting these on. Putting these upper and lower control arms on. The 3-5 swap drop kit is, it takes the axle from the back on the bottom of the coil springs and puts them in between, above them. So it's an axle flip kit, all right, along with the 3-inch. So complete, and that's a new front suspension basically, besides your tie rods and your center link. And you're probably going to have to do that set of shocks, but I'm telling you, for the money, for a legitimate top of the line, I hate to say it, you know, I mean, these are really nice materials these are made out of, that you could do a front suspension rebuild and a 3-5 drop kit with 2 kits from Max Beanie Rods for about $500. That's a pretty good gig, you know. Now you'll have to get it realigned once you get it done, because, you know, because of the drop and everything, it's going to change the geometry of the truck. But I got nothing bad to say about this kit. Nothing bad to say about this kit. It's spectacular. It's spectacular. You guys will not be disappointed with this stuff. I know, I'm picky, and this stuff is great. It really is top of the line, really nice, put together stuff. So if you want to see my best little video ever made, right here. If you want to see the one that they say is best for you, is right there. Y'all be good.